Howdy, and welcome back to Right. Today we are talking with Dale Rice, Director of Journalism Studies here at Texas A&M, about the difference in hard news and featured news writing. What is feature writing and how is it different from hard news?
Well, in general, I'd say in journalism, you can basically say that true stories fall into two categories. They fall into the hard news category or they fall into the feature category. The hard news are those stories that are covering the events that are taking place out there. Feature stories are much more playing either off that or are fun, amusing, or life-revealing kinds of story. Good examples of feature kinds of writing: music, the arts, movies, food, entertainment of all kinds, fashion. These are all things that people have a great deal of interest in, but may not be the most pressing issues of the day. And so you turn around and look for ways to write stories about those things that are interesting, fun, engaging.
Okay, well, when you write a feature story, don't you go about it in a much different way?
Of course, both stories are going to have all of the basic facts. There's no doubt about that. But the basic news story, you're going to concentrate on getting those essential facts high in the story and being very direct with people and getting to the point quickly and clearly. In the feature story, you have an opportunity to have far more varied writing styles. And it's not just that you can play with one particular style, but there are dozens of writing styles that you can use in feature writing, and it gives you a chance to, I think, have more of an individual voice as a writer. It gives you the opportunity to play with language much more. And one other aspect of feature writing is that the vast majority of features are not written on a daily deadline. You have more time, not only to work on the language, but to work on the story form as well, and to look at the way in which you're constructing a story, and where in the story do you want to reveal the key components. Do you want to save things for midway through, or even important details for the end? You have that kind of opportunity in story construction to say, I might not want to reveal all. I might want to keep this almost like a mystery and reveal the most important thing right at the end.
Now, an intro for a feature story can be much different than a hard news story, right?
Yeah, for the feature stories, you can get a lot more into anecdotal writing and descriptive writing and spend a lot more time setting the scene than you would do in a hard news story. So that's a bit of the reason that you have so many different approaches that you can take in a feature story. You can really hone in on somebody's appearance, somebody's personality, the kinds of things that really wouldn't come to play in a news story, right? I mean, really how the person looks or how the person acts or what their personal situation is seldom contributes to what's happening in the news story, unless, of course, there's a serial killer that's caught, and then you go after all of that sort of thing, or a victim. But for the most part, when you have people who are involved in government, for example, discussing the big issues of the day, what they're wearing to the press conference just is not important. But in a feature story, that whole appearance thing might, in fact, be the first 3 or 4 paragraphs of your story as you try and give every little detail about how somebody is appearing and acting during, for example, a news conference. So if you were writing a feature story about the same event, you would take a very, very different approach. to it.
In hard news, you are expected to grab the reader with a captivating lead and deliver the facts as quickly and clearly as possible. In a feature story, you get the opportunity to use description and detail to entice your reader. Your interviews can be more in-depth and can focus on how people feel about an issue rather than just what happened. In Dale Rice's Media Writing 1 and 2, students get the opportunity to practice writing both feature and hard news stories. In our next episode, Dale Rice will discuss ways to approach sensitive or difficult interviews. Thanks for listening to this episode of Right. We'll see you next time.